Well, Mr. Wagner, I thought we were going to have to do like the videos from Alaska or like out east or wherever where we were going to have a tunnel getting into the barn today. But it actually doesn't seem too bad. But you were spot on last week when you said, I really wish I would have done those leaves because I don't think the snow's going away.
Yeah.
So here we are. We're looking out at this beautiful white landscape at the Wagner Ranch. And we're like through gun season. We're through kind of the heart of the rut. We're going to start talking about second rut here soon. It's a little sad because we're like past kind of the majority of what our hunting season is. But I don't know. What are you thinking?
Well, I am a little sad because as I look to the left or out to the north, and I see the snow, which we have a lot of, and there's a drag line there. So I definitely want you to talk about it. But that drag line, as I remember, was the last day of gun season. We had a couple guys, I had a couple players from the Dock Hounds. We were out here and they helped you. So at least the snow, I can still see that. So I have a memory of the last day of gun season and what we all did, and I'll let you elaborate on it. But yeah, it's a sad conclusion because, gosh, it's just not that we need to continue to harvest animals. Like we said, we have a freezer full. Everybody does. We've taken more deer out of my place, actually, than we have in the past, or at least in the last few years. So that part is good, but it's that hunting, it's just that feeling that we had early or late September, right when it started.
Chomping at the bit.
We're looking forward to it. It was always like, we have bow season here. We have Halloween. We still have gun season. We still have Thanksgiving. And yes, we're into muzzleloader and we have late bow, but it's still, man, once that gun season ends, it's on the downswing towards spring.
Well, and then it gets really cold and you don't really want to be outside. And so Eric Tasker here, Paul Wagner. This is Tailgate Talk. We are sitting here recording on a Wednesday again, doing this kind of in the middle of muzzleloader season. So as Wag said, we're post-gun season at this point. So it kind of ended with a bang. It was, I guess, 4 bangs. So I came out on Sunday, and you had a couple other guys out, and we, I've been like almost overly cautious about coming out here because I'm always like, okay, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to shoot bucks? Do you want me to shoot does? What do you want me to do? Because I think that, like, even as good of friends as we are, and as many times as I've come out here, it's always a respect thing. That I'm like, you know what, I'll do whatever you want. If you want me to shoot does, if you're okay with me shooting bucks, all of that stuff. And we get to the final night of gun season. I come out here, I pull in, one of your baseball players is out here, and our other buddies out here. You're like, oh, well, they're going to go sit, in the south stand. I'm going to sit in the north stand. And I'm thinking, okay, that's great because I have a FOMO problem of I don't want to sit in one spot when it could happen in the other one. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is great because we're both going to be in both of those rednecks. So it works out. I'll know if they shoot something. They'll know if I shoot something. We'll be able to come back to the barn and celebrate, right? I think it was about like 4:15. I text you and I'm like, hey, there's a small one that's like all I can see is the body walking through, but I've got my shotgun, and you're like, well, shoot it. I'm like, I can't shoot it. There's too much going on back there. And then I thought when I looked, it was 4:32 for shooting hours. And maybe I was just off on it or whatever, and it was actually like 4:36 or 4:39 or whatever it was. So 4:27, let's say.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the cameras start going off, and a whole herd of deer come walking into the food plot. And people think, oh yeah, it's so nice to just sit in a redneck and you're out of the elements and it's so comfy and cozy. You can sit in an office chair, you can do whatever. The deer know that thing is there though.
You're right.
So you can't move around much, and you have to be very careful opening windows. And like what I always do is, like, especially the first time that I came out, I think that was Friday, I had to make sure that I could pull all the windows open so there was no like ice buildup or any of that stuff, just to make sure. And I'm thinking, okay, I've never shot out of the side window, but I'm going to have to now. So I'm like kind of contorted in a way that I don't know if I was actually aiming appropriately, but I really took my time with it. And I think
because let me interrupt. Because that side, that north side, and that redneck is set up on a smaller kill plot, which is mainly set up for bow. Like
right.
we both hunt out of that one a lot.
Yeah.
Whereas the other one is with the massive food plot, and you can shoot 100 yards to the south, 100 yards to the north.
Right.
Right. So that's set up more for gun. Where this one, like you just said, it is set up more for a bow.
Yeah. And by the time they had come in, when I looked over, they had to have been at 25 yards, maybe something like that. So they were there. They were on top of me. And I kind of did what I needed to do. I grabbed my firearm and I'm sitting there and I'm trying to work through this. And I'm like, okay, I've never shot out of the side windows, like the horizontal windows before, but it's fine. I'm going to have all this room left and right that I can do this. And I'm slowly opening the window and I move my head out of the way because I knew she was looking. The first one was looking at me the whole time. Well, I ended up shooting over the top of the first one, and 5 other deer are right behind her. The second one happened to be a nice big mature doe. And sure enough, she moved 5 feet over, so it was perfect shot for me. And I was able to take that one. And all I kept thinking is, how many seconds is it going to take for Wags to call me and say, "Did you get her?" And sure enough, it was not much more than 30 seconds. I'm changing. I'll be there in 5 minutes. With the assumption that I actually killed a deer.
and then they're going to call from the other guys. Both of those 2 guys call, or they text me and they go, "Whoa, 2 shots, dude. What happened?" I go, "Because you had told me that there was another one." And you go, "Should I take?" I go, "Yes, we have tag.
Right.
So take that one.
Yeah.
Take the other one." And I go, to those guys, they go 2, and I go, boom, 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 boom. I go, "Just wait, one more's coming." All of a sudden you go,
"Oh, nice. I didn't know that."
Yeah. Emojis.
Yeah. So we had the 2 shots that I had taken right away, and then so we're at 4:29 now. The seconds are counting down, and they blow out of there and they work their way back then, and it was 4:34. And I actually called you and was like, "I don't know what to do. They're all back." And all I got from you was, "Shoot them," and hang up the phone.
Well, I can tell you what, we've talked about your experiences and mine.
Yeah.
We maybe not, we shoot. I mean,
we will shoot.
You come out to my place, you are flinging arrows and you are throwing lead.
Yes.
Because the only way you're going to get something is by
shooting
throwing lead. You got to shoot. So I like it. Obviously, we've done so much research and we've talked about it in the past and how to contain your herd on smaller parcels, what to do and stuff like that. So we did flip the script this year, and I wanted as many does. So of course I'm going to say shoot. Same with the other guys. I go, "Throw it. Oh, that's too small," or "That's that." I go,
"Right.
Throw it. Throw it."
What was the rule on Sunday? We've got a foot of snow on the ground. If you can see daylight between the belly and the top of the snow, shoot. It's not a rabbit then.
And they look at me like, "Really?" I go, "Yes, really."
Yeah. Really. Yeah. So that was fun, and it was nice to kind of have that, because now this year I've been fortunate to take a big nuisance doe. Right. That was a problem with the bow, and then to be able to take one with the gun during the gun season in the final minutes was really nice. So
that's right. And that doe you took, that was the one that not really early season, but in bow, where she's the one who you were just talking about. She knew exactly where the redneck was. Everybody else eats and drinks, and she's just spying on us,
staring
and
at it.
As soon as you open up a window or crack it, she blows and she lifts her neck up, and everybody's gone.
Which makes it very, very difficult for bow season.
Correct.
It's different with gun, but and I want to say that was Monday or Tuesday of the bow season starting, so it was nice and early. Right. So that was at least one kind of headache that was out of the food plot, because her little ones are still running around, and they seem to be doing just fine, which is good. they're out there eating. I mean, I saw them the other night, and they were out there for an hour chowing down on whatever they could find. And
daycare center.
Yeah, the Wagner Daycare Ranch. So that's good. So you've had a couple guys out here now. I mean, what's your kind of overall? I know we're not done with the season yet, and I'm sure we're going to continue to talk about just late season and doing some late season bow. If you had any initial reaction on the season this year so far, like, what are your thoughts? How do you feel like it's going? Are you happy with where we're at or where you're at for your property?
Yes.
What are you thinking with that?
I think, like I said kind of earlier, I'm really excited to see how the harvest rate here pans or plays for the future, because we haven't done this. We have thinned the herd, per se. We did go for a couple mature ones, a couple young ones. And I know you don't want to always get rid of that, that go-to doe who's always going to produce twins and twin bucks. But hearing all the stories about how they get to a certain age, the year and a half, and they kick the fawns out, and this is her property. And what I've seen now is, even going out there today, just going around, I wanted to see how much snow we had. So I kind of went around and I put the four-wheeler, I had the Ranger and the four-wheeler out just to make the tracks around the property. And I do that in case or as snow comes, because I don't feel this snow is going to go away. That way, even if we do get a dumping of 6 to 8 inches, I still have a set of tracks that I can follow. It's not like trying to all of a sudden go a 6 to 8 inch dump on top of what we just got. Now I'm not going to be able to go through there. And I don't like bringing out the snowmobile at all, because it just doesn't turn that well around, obviously, the sharper corners of the property.
Tight corners and things like that.
It went out there, and it was nice. So what I did see is, I was going to tell you, the reason why I'm kind of optimistic is I did see a couple nice. I saw that 8-pointer this morning. I had him on camera again. So you know what? Maybe we may have a couple nice bucks.
Yeah.
That maybe not live here or will stay here.
Sure.
But feel comfortable here and will go. And as I went around, I kicked up a doe, 2 fawns. Came around the other corner by the pine trees. There was a doe bed under there. And I know the cold weather is coming tonight into tomorrow morning. So I know they're buckling down. They didn't circle very much. And obviously I don't go, 100 miles an hour. I go nice, steady pace. And you realize that with the deer that popped up, yes, maybe not from here, but the ones that are here, I always see heads.
Yeah.
If you don't go fast with the four-wheelers or the ATVs, different if you get off of it.
Sure.
But if you stay on it and continuously move, whether it's with that or the tractor when I'm cutting the trails, they're pretty stable there until they feel.
That's what you were saying. I remember you saying that you can drive through there and you can kind of cruise through and everything, but if you stop, they get a little sketchy. If you get off,
go on.
They're booking it.
Yeah, and you can't go, like I said, you can't go 100 miles an hour, but when you go at a decent rate, 15 miles an hour or whatever you want to say, I don't even know what it is, and you just go at a steady and it doesn't make that much noise and you continuously go, they're fine.
Yeah. I was trying, I thought that I had saved, and I'm going to just look at our text messages here quick on the fly. I thought that I had saved or sent you the numbers. I guess I didn't. I thought I had sent you the numbers, the official numbers for the gun season, as they've now been posted. I'm going to just try and search this quick. The total purchase numbers, the total harvest numbers, and the split ratio has been released. And, you get baited into these articles so often because it's like, oh, the numbers are way down. And here we go. And the numbers are way down. Well, the numbers are way down to a tune of 0.03% for total license sales. Okay. And then the other one was
I'm curious to see when they have, as you continue to look at, I'm curious to see when they're going to come out with those, with the harvest numbers. Because remember, after opening weekend, they came out almost immediately.
Yeah.
Saturday, Sunday, they came out with Monday's numbers pretty quick.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that because in the state of Wisconsin, you have until 5 p.m. the next day. And I registered the deer before 5 o'clock. I'm going to say that first before I go into the story. But it's amazing how easily that can be forgotten. like for me, for example, okay, shoot it at last light on Sunday, wake up Monday, got to go to the office, got stuff to do. We're after a holiday weekend. So I'm getting into the office thinking, I've got a lot to do. So I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about that. I meet up with my buddy to drop the deer off. And, that's like noon or whatever. All of a sudden, I get home. I'm thinking about, I got to go get something from the vet. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do all these things. I could go back and I could look and see what the actual time was. I bet it was like 4:52 that I thought to myself, oh, shoot, I got to register this deer yet, which I did. I did it in time, all that stuff. I would not be surprised if people were in that situation and it was, say, 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock at night, or maybe it was even Tuesday, and they just decide, you know what, I already took the deer in. I'm just not going to register the deer. It's easy to get to that point where it's like, oh, shoot, well, I don't want to be against the rules by registering it late. It's already at the processor. Maybe I just won't even do it.
So what does one think in that situation? I didn't think about harvests on Sunday.
Yeah,
you get mixed around. Do you get to that point where should I register it, even though it's late?
Right.
So we can have a full count, so the DNR can use it, so we can have this, or am I jeopardizing myself now into a fine or something? And I don't mean to. I'm not telling you. I mean, yes, you follow the rules. You shoot. You harvest an animal at shooting light. Let's just say 4:45 on Sunday night.
Yeah.
You have till 5 o'clock Monday afternoon. But I'm just thinking how maybe some individuals are feeling. Wait a minute. Am I digging my grave here?
Right.
And that's what.
Oh, I got to put my phone number in if there's any questions about the harvest. Well, I'm going to get a phone call from the DNR saying, "Hey, you were late."
Did you shoot it Monday morning or when the season was over? Maybe it's not as bad because we still have muzzle loader going, but I don't know. But I'm sure that thought goes into people's minds, as you just said.
Right.
Yeah.
And it all worked out. It was all fine. But that's the perfect scenario of coming back from a holiday weekend, getting in to do your job, thinking about all the things that you got to take care of after, maybe being out Wednesday through Friday the week prior. The hustle and bustle of the holiday, and then shooting it late on Sunday. It's not like, oh yeah, I shot it at 2 o'clock. I can think about it. I could probably get it registered by today at 5 o'clock. Right. I will never know the answer. I'd be very curious, like what they actually think, how many times that actually happens. Like, is it maybe it's even 0.05% of the harvest, but that could be 50 deer or 100 deer.
Yeah, I bet you that number, that play, they have a little bit of play, and I think the 0.0s are low. I bet you they factor in, I know it's going to sound large, I bet you they factor in anywhere between a 2 to 4% swing. That's what I think.
That's hundreds of deer.
And I think you have to do that also, now that I'm thinking about it, I bet you they do that. You have to put that leeway, that little slush in there for turkeys as well, I think.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's crazy.
Okay, so I'm just looking at the numbers here. I do have the finals. So as of Sunday, November 30th, sales for deer hunting privileges, which include gun, archery, crossbow, conservation patron, and sports license, reached 790,044. So that's everything. Oh, so that could be like you and I, we have both. Okay. So we have bow and that. But I'll tell you that number in a second. So that number, 790,000, is down 0.12% from the same time last year. Of those, 550,611 were for gun privileges only.
550, which is low.
Because we were like 600, right? Yeah, like 575 to 600.
They have non-resin there?
It just says this is total number.
Because this is the first year, I believe, that we mentioned that they actually
increased.
I mean, again, we are the most affordable, non-resident whitetail tag that I can even think of off the cuff, with no preference points, over the counter, and minimal, especially with a great deer population.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an amazing situation that a non-resident can have here.
So have you seen the number of how many deer were harvested during the gun season?
I'm going to go, no, but can I guess?
Yes.
I'm going to guess at about 160,000.
That's a pretty good guess. 182,084 deer during the 2025 gun season, including 86,000 antlered and 96,000 antlerless.
Oh, almost 50-50. I mean,
pretty close. Pretty close on the split. Compared to 2024, the gun season harvest totals is down 0.8% statewide, with the antlered harvest up 2.6% and the antlerless down 0.9%.
And that's those numbers, how those reflect is probably in years past when that happened. Because when that antlered number surpasses the antlerless number, that's when those counties and those areas, remember they incorporated
Ernebuck.
Right. Ernebuck.
Yeah.
Because you know what, you can't just sit around and wait for that buck and have 35 does run by.
Yeah.
That's right.
So since the opening of bow and crossbow seasons, Wisconsin hunters have registered 294,757 deer. That harvest number is 1.1% ahead of the same time last year. So we're down slightly in gun numbers, which just totally proves what everybody's saying is crossbows are changing the hunting season in the state of Wisconsin. There's more crossbow hunters. There's more people getting into archery or like taking advantage of the archery seasons. Right. And that then is helping lead with those early numbers. Marquette County in Central Farmland Zone led the state with 7.9 deer registered per square mile. Where is Marquette County?
That's got to be north. That's north. That's up in UP, isn't it?
It says Central Farmland Zone.
Marquette is Central Farm? Or does it say Marquette and Central Farm?
No, Marquette in the Central Farmland Zone led the state with 7.9 deer. Vernon County in the Southern Farmland Zone with 6.5 deer per square mile. Oh, look at this. DMU 201 led the Central Forest Zone, registering 3.8 deer per square mile. That's Eau Claire. That's my DMU up north.
Oh.
My little sliver of Eau Claire County. Finally, DMU 108. Oh, boy. Finally, DMU 108 led the Northern Forest Zone with 2.7 deer registered per square mile. So if we take a look at the Northern Zone versus the best grossing per square mile area in the state, it is 1/3. There are 3 times as many deer that are being registered per square mile in the Central Zone versus up north.
So that Marquette County, there is a Marquette County up in the UP, but that other one is like Westfield, Montello.
Oh,
area.
Yeah. Okay. So that's like Spring Green kind of. It's like close to that there then. Yeah. Okay. And then, what I really wanted to see here. Okay. Well, here's that one. 2 gun deer season hunting incidents. One in Grant County in North Lancaster Township. I can't even read this without laughing. I'm sorry, that's so bad. In the afternoon hours, a 57-year-old male was a victim of a gunshot to his buttock while walking to a field to go deer hunting. The victim was transported to the hospital, treated for injury, investigation pending. And then the other one, which we had talked about, the one in Fond du Lac County, which was the really sad one, the 24-year-old male who was a victim of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Here's the reminder again. DNR always wants you to follow the 4 simple rules, tab K. I think we've covered this in years past, but if this was your first year shooting a deer, the DNR actually issues first harvest certificates as well. It's super easy to find. It's a hunters of all ages, does not matter. It's not just a youth thing. Hunters of all ages who have harvested their first deer are encouraged to highlight this significant occasion with a first harvest certificate.
I like that.
So that's really cool that they do that.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm trying to think if there was anything else.
As you mentioned with crossbow, bow, and there's always going to be the debate. Do you use a recurve? I mean, if you really think of it, the recurve, then the compound, then the crossbow. Now, we are up in Dodge. We're rifle.
Right.
Your shotgun. You
Yep.
used a shotgun here, which you can.
Yeah.
We have muzzle loader. There's so many different weapons. And then I was just talking to somebody. Gosh, I think I was up more in the Lamira area, or maybe I was maybe out in Johnson Creek and talking. And one of his buddies shot harvested an animal with a pistol. He's got a
Really?
Showed me a picture, and I don't know. It was a revolver.
Okay.
It was a revolver.
Okay.
It looked like stinking Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
And it had a scope.
Like a big 357
Yes.
or what? Oh, okay.
I don't know what the caliber was.
Yeah.
And I go, what? And he goes, yeah. And it had a scope on it. And don't get me wrong, I've heard about it. It's not like it's
Sure.
But I haven't really seen or heard. Like I thought it was like this mythical thing.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he said, yeah. And he shot it doe and he harvested it.
How about that?
So now there's so many weapons of choice. But again, getting into it, first harvest certificates, anything to enjoy the outdoors. The experiences that we've had, the guys that were here, the people that you haven't even known. You didn't even meet some of my buddies or some of the guys that were over here at times. And you meet new people. And hunting isn't necessarily just like we've always said, the harvest of the animal. It's the camaraderie. It's the helping. It's the gutting. It's one of my buddies who put the wiring and we got the lights that didn't work for you the first time.
Yeah.
It's still above ground. It isn't ditched yet, but you know what? It still goes out there and the lights are there and and everybody helps. If there's a point, and I just remember even when we did your doe the other night, you were coming from the back end or the side. I used the butt plug, and then I came up from the front, and we just opened up the carcass and we get to the three balls, the esophagus and stuff. So it's always somebody holding a leg, always helping, always talking at that time, finding the heart, looking for the double. The other day, as I keep going, the other day we pulled one of Jake's does. I think it was his wife. So his wife takes one, and we pulled it up, and her urine sac was still intact.
Okay.
And I'm like, man. Now, I know it was late because it was gun.
Right.
But if you could do that in the fall, let's just say you shoot that doe a little bit closer to Halloween or something.
Yeah.
And that urine sac is still intact. Do I...
There's no fresher.
Exactly. Do I pop a hole in it and put it in a coffee cup and take it out or spray? But again, you see so many different things and you learn so many different things. But again, the point being is that regardless of the weapon, regardless of the harvest, whether it's a doe, a buck, big or little, it's a hunting camp.
Yeah.
It's a hunting camp.
Well, and to kind of like tag on to that, I just remember, we had talked over the weekend, and I'm like, hey, this is kind of what I think my plan is going to be. I think I'll be able to hunt these days, this time, whenever. And you've always said I try to get out there by 2:30. That's enough time. Just you're getting there early enough. Otherwise, you might stir something up. But I try and get out there by 2:30. And when I came out on Sunday, I just kept thinking to myself, I know for sure I can get out there early enough. Sherry was taking Landry back to school, and we're like, okay, I've got all afternoon. I can just kind of go whenever. So I get out here, and I want to say maybe I got out here at like 2:15 or something like that, and I pull in, and there's a couple orange coats in the driveway, and initially I was thinking, okay, I'm going to be early. I don't have to worry about it, any of that stuff. And as soon as I got here, I was like, I don't care when I get out there. Like, I want to talk to these guys. I want to, me and Hadi have heard each other's names so many times, so it was nice just to meet one another. And like you said, that's all part of it. It's just meeting some new people, and we're all out here for the same reason, and hopefully one of us is able to do something that day. And
everybody helps everybody. We're all part of the drag. We're all part of the search, the look. Everybody's got lights. Everybody works together.
Yeah.
And like you said, the earlier we come. Last time, you didn't come out here, but I said between that 2:30. Get out there. They're not going to be there right now. You might kick something up, but generally they'll come in around that 3:45 to 4:30 mark. Yeah. Gets you some time to settle in. Get the heat going, get the frost off of the windows, crack a window, make sure there's no squeaks.
Right.
And we ended up sitting out there, well, as our driveway is, and you avoid that one side. But the other side, well, you can see all the tracks in there. We ended up sitting there. They got there about 1:30. I bet you we sat out in the driveway in the snow and probably talked, I'm probably exaggerating, about an hour.
Yeah.
And then everybody
it had to have been close,
Exactly. So it is, that's what it's about.
Yeah. And you had just mentioned, we had started off, we're looking at this drag line, and, just having those guys here, I called my dad afterwards because he knew that I was coming out, and a couple things with this. So the first deer that I had ever gutted by myself was the doe that I shot out here. You know, me and my dad always do it together, and we kind of work through it, and hey, hold this leg or do whatever. And so I had done that one on my own up here in the early season. And then we get it back there, and, you know, the guys are holding the front legs. I'm like kind of working through it, and I'm thinking to myself, these guys are going to just think that I'm such an idiot. And I remember at one point, I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I think that's probably good enough. What do you guys think? And it was totally fine, but it was maybe 5 minutes in and out, super fast. And I called my dad afterwards, and I'm like, I don't know why I had this like big mystery in my head of like what it is to actually clean a deer. It was the fastest I've ever seen a deer cleaned. It was just so quick, and having, you know, two guys holding it up and you helping, you know, on the backside. And I'm like, this kind of makes it fun having, you know, a handful of guys here. We all kind of pulled a little bit to get it back there and holding up the legs and everything and tossing it in the back. So
well, some of these guys are like, and I know you're going to laugh and I know it's funny, but the butt plug is the best invention ever. Like, a couple of those guys came out earlier this year, and they're cutting around the anus, and they're cutting around like we used to do in old school. I go, stop. I go, just stop. You can do whatever you want, but just let me do this. So cut off, whether it's, you know, whatever testicles, they cut that off. It's a buck. You stick that in, 1.5 turns, pulls it all out. It makes it go so fast and easy, you know? And, and then, so I think maybe you and maybe the other guys, but maybe we've gotten more people to believe in the butt plug. For $9.99, well, and on sale for $7.99.
Well, and it's just this little plastic molded piece that just does its job, and it's super affordable. I was relieved to see. So we've always used an axe too. Like I have like a small kind of hatchet, whatever, that I take out. It's just super small, and it's got paracord wrapped around the hand. It used to be orange, and now it's this like dingy color because we've used it to whack through that pelvic bone a couple times. When we were over there and you were like, oh, do you have an axe? And I was like, yeah, I've got my little one over there. And he's like, use this 5-pound mallet. I'm like, boy, that really makes it easy then. You don't have to worry about sawing through it or anything. Because when I shot that first one, I didn't have my axe, and I couldn't get my knife through the bone. Gotcha. And I didn't really think much of it, so I actually just ended up taking it in, and I didn't break through that. And they're like, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. You know, I mean, as much as you can clean out on your own, great. But, you know, most of the time these guys don't really care too much about that. So.
Right. And, you know, and another thing with multiple people there is, you know, when we caught it, you axed it out, a couple hacks, pelvic bone opens up, clean out, then two guys can lift.
Yeah.
And you just clean it out.
Kind of trim whatever out that you need to.
And let it come out, and it's, granted, there's snow, but even before the snow came, and we did it this way with multiple people, you don't get the leaves and the grass inside. Right. You don't have to, like when you're by yourself, you have to flip it over and let the blood drip, because obviously you can't lift the deer by yourself. Right. So it does go nice. It goes nice and quick, and and it's just a matter of time. And pretty soon, you know, 5 minutes is too long. You know, when you get a snag, and you're like, shoot, when you got people helping you, it goes fast and quick.
It's so quick, yeah. Well, and now we've got this nice bed that it could lay on, and it was all cold, and, you know, all of a sudden you just take some snow and kind of brush some of that off, and you can wash your hands in the snow quick, and it just makes it so much easier.
That is one thing I do have, though. We have the lights out there. I have power out there. Yeah. We know the trail that you make. Everybody follows that little corner. Come around the corner. Yep. Drop your animal off. That's where you field dress it. And I have meat poles. And we've never used I had my brother come out and put these meat poles in with 3 pulleys on it, and we don't ever use it because it's not up north. It's a different thing. But I always thought, you know, if I'm by myself or something, doesn't matter. Even when I harvest an animal by myself, I'll grab the girls or somebody will help me. Yeah. Throw it in the truck, and I'll take it to
the wherever.
So
you know,
I don't. But the meat pole for me, I kind of like it. It looks neat.
Right. Okay, so now next year when we start thinking about our future hunts, or even if it's late this year, the problem that we've had is we've shot a lot of deer when it was really warm out, and you're not going to let it hang overnight. So Sunday, without a doubt, we could have done that, and I would have had to just come back and get it the next day or whenever. But sometimes it just doesn't work out that way, and if you've got a place to take it. Yeah, if you've got where I can see this happening is when Eric figures out how to shoot. And there's 3 deer that we're cleaning. 2 will be hanging while we're finishing the 3rd. Okay? So if we ever come into a situation where we're just over the moon lucky one night that we have a couple deer that are down, we'll string one up just out of like symbolism for having it up there.
We definitely have. Yeah, this. Like I said, we throw lead. We sling arrows, but it seems like the group of hunters that I have, we are no experts.
Yeah.
We do a lot of shooting. We do a lot of practice. We do a lot of range. We do a lot of sighting. We do a lot of everything. But when it comes down to it, we do a lot of missing, too.
You know what? And that makes me so much more comfortable coming out here. Because for the longest time, Tim always gave me a hard time about that. And I'm like, yeah, but it happens. It happens. And what I should have done, because I just brought my shotgun out. I didn't have my rifle because when we came back from up north, I didn't have an extra case, and I'm like, I don't want to, whatever. Dad, just take that. I'll just use my shotgun. We've got slugs. It's not a big deal. Whatever. Yeah. And what I should have done, even after all the research that I did, and like I went out and I stood in line on Black Friday and bought, a separate box of ammo that was supposed to like shoot the most accurate out of that barrel and all of that stuff. I should have still just shot one shot at least to know how high is it actually going to shoot. Because those bird guns and those like straight barrels, they shoot high intentionally because typically you're putting your bead low on the animal when you're shooting waterfowl. And so it naturally shoots high. So, I did all this research. I've got this stupid chart that I looked up of like what distance, should I shoot like 2 inches low at close range or whatever it is. And so I'm kind of thinking through that. Well, then, I shoot over the back of the first one and I'm thinking, oh boy, okay. Well, I know it's shooting a lot higher than what I thought, but maybe it would have been a different story if I had my rifle, it'd be hopefully a different story because I actually did my due diligence this year and actually went and sighted it in. But I don't know. It is what it is. You live and you learn.
So we found out another thing, too, as we continue to just throw topics out here. That tree out there by the pine, you can't see it because the wall is there.
Yeah.
It is nice. It's big. We're going to put, somebody had told me, remember when I was talking to you about my rangefinder, and I got the new Vortex rangefinder? There's an arc, and there's a straight line, and there's a shooting down.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is he's going to bring that over, and we're going to put a stand up there.
Okay.
And it's a bigger, wider stand.
Yeah.
I'll put a safety strap on it just so in case you don't want to fall.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to set up my targets right here.
Okay.
And we're going to shoot from an elevated spot next year.
Yeah.
And then instead of just shooting on flat ground, I get it. I like flat ground. I've been doing it my whole life.
Right.
But when I shoot over the top of it, it was like, wait a minute, what's going on?
But you're also not hunting from the ground either. So
we don't
try and replicate
that. We don't hunt. That is true too. We don't hunt ground blinds. The only ground blinds that we hunt, like we were just talking about earlier, is for turkey.
Yeah.
Everything is at least elevated. The redneck does come in a 5-foot stand, a 10-foot stand, and a 15-foot stand.
Okay.
All of mine have the 10-foot stands.
Okay.
So I have all 10-foot stands with the additional front porch, they call it.
Okay.
That way you can get up there and actually set your backpack down.
Sure.
You're not sitting on that little 2-foot platform. So we went 10 feet on all of them with the front porch addition, and that gets you in there. But that tree, when we were walking the other night, and he said, yeah, let's put that stand up there. Again, I'm not going to go up that high, but maybe 2 sections, just to give you a little bit of a downward shot.
A little bit of a downward shot. Yeah, because you're pretty flat here. I mean, you've got some like rolling spots, but not anywhere that you would.
And we don't hunt that back ravine down in the woods.
Right.
That's your drop point. Or if you look at the topo.
Yeah. Did you see, I think you said you might have a story that you had found. Did you see that article or that video that I sent you? I think it was from Fox News had posted it about it looked like 200 elk in that lady's yard.
Yes, you said that.
Can you imagine? Like it's almost like that's what this place would be if all of the deer were there at once, right? Could you imagine having that many deer in your yard all at once? Raise the roof. A mother and her daughter were shocked to look out the window and see this herd of elk. Yes. And there's got to be, not even exaggerating, 100 elk in her yard.
Yes, I saw that. That's crazy.
Well, hopefully you don't leave your deer or your dog outside and like something happens with that.
Right.
But yeah. So okay, that was the one thing that I was going to cover aside from the numbers there, but. You said you had one, right?
So I just looked at that DNR site, and they just said the thing that came across to me was, tips for late season bow hunting that we all think about, only because of the fact that we probably are going to do some late season bow.
Yeah.
The muzzle situation here, because it's supposed to get so wicked cold and stuff, I don't really know. I don't know how we're going to do that. Kind of try to wait for a little bit, maybe a little warm up in mid-December.
Sure.
Maybe mid-January or something. I think my period goes till January 31st.
Okay.
I believe. I'll have to double check that. But again, it just says, make sure that you shoot again. It's not like we're shooting in August in a t-shirt and shorts. Make sure you have, heavy clothes on so your bow, when you pull back, you're
feel like the Michelin Man
exactly,
out there.
Exactly.
So did you notice that when you came out to the blind, I had like a big black cover pullover? It was just like a waffle knit, like just a sweater that I bought that I think is too big. It's like uncomfortable because it's too big for me. It was like from like Tmall, like it was like $4. But I'm like, this is perfect because I can have layers, but I'm also not used to shooting in a bunch of layers. So it's nice to have that, but you need to have that. I mean, you can't wear orange in those rednecks because you just stand out so bad.
Exactly. So a lot of the guys will take what I just tell them to do is if they have their orange, usually a lighter, not even a vest, but whatever's orange, just wrap it around. Obviously, I want you to wear it to the redneck.
Yeah.
But once you get in there, we take it off or whatever. But once you get on, a lot of guys were just wearing it around their necks. I don't know what the 50-50 what it is, but always you saw it. Everybody wore an orange hat, and then everybody had it either wrapped around them or the vest on or something to that effect.
Yeah.
But again, and now with late season bow, no orange, but we have snow, so the snow makes it lighter, easier to track.
No headlamps needed. No, that's for sure.
But you'll also have to be conscious of shooting times,
right?
Obviously, because you can probably see
a
little bit better when there's that snow on the ground, and you won't realize, shooting times as they're posted and stuff like that. But other than that, just stay warm, prepare for it, shoot in those clothes because you're going to be squeaky. That squeaks and makes noises in your armpits and stuff like that as you pull back. But with the snow and everything, just be safe because late season bow, especially if there comes a snowstorm, some of those ladder stands become pretty slick.
Yeah.
Make sure you use your lifeline. If you do use it, make sure you have 3 points of contact always.
Yeah.
I always believe in it. I've tried to, especially now. I do my 1 or 2 feet, but I try to always get both hands on and be sure that I can keep it. But 3 points of contact as I climb it because it gets slippery.
Yeah.
Sometimes if it's not snow covered, it's icy. And those are, that's a little inch by inch tube or whatever square that you're stepping on, and you can slide
and it's like frozen. And once it starts getting iced up, and just being super careful about that stuff. Anything else in that article?
No, that was pretty much it. It was just saying that just to remember
just a couple safety things.
Just be sure you have a great time and enjoy the outdoors, and that's what it's all about. And the late season bow does extend the season for hunters, and it does extend the opportunity for a harvest.
Yeah.
So just enjoy yourself and be careful, and whoever does it. And some people obviously work in the holidays. Some people in the paramedic field, the EMTs, the police, the fire departments, even military people.
Yeah.
This is the time. I know a couple people that are coming back. They do their Christmas almost right after New Year's or right before New Year's. So they have to do that. Some of them already did their Christmas, or they're doing their Christmas this weekend because they're leaving. So again, people coming in and out, and depending on what you have and what your schedules are, at least it gives you the opportunity to get outside.
Yeah, and I think the DNR has done kind of, I don't know, some people don't like it because it feels like every week there's a different kind of season that you have to be wearing orange in the month of December, whether that's muzzleloader going through the first week of December. Then there's the antlerless hunt, which I believe is next week.
Yes, you're right.
And then there's the antlerless holiday hunt, which is like between Christmas and New Year's or something. So there's a lot of different seasons and a lot of different things going on. Just make sure that if you have to be wearing orange, know what seasons are happening, and to make sure that you're wearing the appropriate clothing.
Correct. Remember last time when we were driving, remember now that we're in December, that December 10th deadline for spring turkey and bear.
Yeah.
So don't forget.
Don't forget Tasker. Oh, man.
I pulled it up and I went to the site, and I have almost 15 preference points now for that black bear.
Okay.
And I didn't know, how long ago I shot mine. And now...
So it was 15 years
ago.
Wow.
It's crazy. It
Yeah.
really is. And,
So what do you think you need for points to go up there?
I think Joe said, I think for that zone, they rezone.
Okay.
Before I was zone C. I think he said anywhere between I think you're safe with 3 to 5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, because I think this year will be 4 for me.
Yeah.
So maybe
Yeah.
not next year, but the year after, I'd be safe to do it.
And then when you do
How does that work? So do you just... What if you don't get the zone you want? Do they give you something else, or you just get the point then?
I always just put those for my 3 opportunities or my 3 options or my 2 options. I just do option 1.
Okay.
And leave the other 2 blank. Or I do the same option on all of them.
Okay.
I just change the season. As for turkeys, but for bear, it's
Sure.
the same. So I just do it, and that way, if we get a kill tag or just a harvest point, or a preference point, we can decide. But when you're ready to do it, I'm going to talk to Joe up there, and I'll grab my point. Points don't carry over, so I'll below 15 points, and you can get it with 5 points, and I get it with 15. You can't pull them over, but we'll go up there at that time. Okay. That's probably when I'll harvest another bear because it's fun up there. It's good. Good people. It's really good. And
that's crazy.
And we'll do musky fishing and bird hunting. And there's a lot of stuff to do up there.
Yeah, because that's typically like early September, right?
I believe like September 6th or something.
Yeah.
Usually, remember, it always...
It's the week prior to opening for bow season.
And it opens on a Wednesday because the season... I think it opens on a Wednesday. And I'm not sure, but in the years past, that zone alternates from dog to bait. Okay. So one or the other gets the little bit of the opportunity to go first. So like if a bait dogs is this, they get to go first. Right. Or something. But our zone was never dogs, it was always bait. Okay. But you could start running dogs like I believe the 4th of July for practice. Okay. So dogs can run the 4th of July chase, but you can't use them. But a lot of rules that we'll have to go over because it's been a long time for me.
Yeah. Okay, I don't have anything else. Do you have anything else?
No, I think that was pretty good. I think we wrapped up a pretty good gun season. Yeah. I think we harvested some good animals. We touched on all of that. Other than that, now we're moving into ice fishing. Yep. We have some people coming around. We're looking to, maybe we were in contact with some people. So we have some things working that obviously we have guests lined up that you have. We have some sponsors lined up. We're going to introduce those people as the time comes forward. And as we move into our second generation of tailgate talk, I think it's actually third generation. The two faithful remain. Yes. So it's exciting for us because we do have a couple things in the works. We have... we're going to be talking to a couple repeat guests here, and Chris Ham. I think I feel comfortable in saying that. They're dropping a new site next week, so it's an exciting time for them. So we're going to just kind of plan it around what works for him, knowing that Monday, Tuesday is probably a pretty big day for him. And then, we've got some sponsors that are coming on board, and we're going to continue doing some interviews and talking to some people about different things that are going on. And maybe it won't just be the two knuckleheads talking for 45 minutes or an hour once a week. So, but it's an exciting time. If you want to be a part of the show in any capacity, you can always reach out to one of us. My email is just Eric Tasker at iHeartMedia.com.
Super easy way to go about getting in touch with me, or you can find me on Instagram, Wisco Bow Hunting. It's pretty simple that way. And Paul keeps a little profile, so please don't inbox him too heavily. I'll try and filter through all the guests. I'll be the producer / phone screener for some of those guests. But if there is somebody that you would like to hear from, I mean, we've been pretty lucky with some of the guests that we have had. If there's a topic or if there's anything else, reach out to us one way or another, and we'll figure out a way to ramble about it.
And I think, don't forget too, we have a couple local establishments have contacted us or me and said, don't forget, you got rabbit hunts coming up.
Yep.
So those, I think the rabbit season ends that last weekend in February, which is, I believe, just to make up a number, February 27th, 26th.
Yeah.
Something like that. That's the last one. There's also one over here a little bit north that they actually have a crow hunt.
Okay.
And the proceeds, meat raffles, etc. It's just amazing. But the rabbits are plentiful. There's so many spots for them to hide on my property. There's so many rocks and down logs, and you're kicking thorn bushes, and you're literally getting on them, and you shoot from the hip sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to.
And we get wild pheasants now. So the pheasants, it's kind of neat to see pheasants, I tell you that.
Yeah.
It is. It's kind of neat to hear them in the morning.
So you're not too far away from there. How many do you think you've had over here now?
So far?
Yeah.
I think I've seen, I'm going to say this might be a little high, at least four or five roosters.
Yeah, that's still cool,
Four or five roosters, and they scared the living daylights out of me. I was out there not looking for, I heard something, I'm like, what? And as you walk around, obviously they're...
They'll wait until you're right on top of
I know.
You're not flushing a dog out there either, it's just you're surprised when it happens.
I think that's pretty much about all we got until next week. But what an exciting gun hunt. Everybody enjoyed. Everybody had fun, I believe. And it was a great harvest.
Yeah. Well, for Paul Wagner, I'm Eric Tasker. This has been another episode of Tailgate Talk. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio app. And as always, if you have any questions or if you'd like to get in touch with us, reach out to me either on Instagram or via my email. And we will talk to you next week.